10 burning questions about Amazon Rings of Power. Question number 1. Okay, but would there be wizards? This is what the showrunner had to say about the naked man in the meteorite fire. When asked if this might be Gandalf, Radagast, or Saruman, Mr. K answered cautiously, well, I will say those are not the only beings, those names in that class. So maybe, but maybe not. So maybe, or maybe not. Gandalf is going to be in this show? Oh! What up, YouTube? It's your boy Fatal J, back like I left something, and I'm glad you're here. Yes, I'm glad you're here. And today, I want to check out an article that you may have missed, I definitely have missed, and it breaks down the complete story and the background information that they got for doing this show. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to be even more mad at Amazon for this. But before I break that down, you know what to do. Smash that like, smash that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because every time you hit that notification bell, it makes me feel oh so good and oh so swell. Yeah. So this article right here came from Vanity Fair, and what Vanity Fair does, they always get the biggest scoops about upcoming shows, the most anticipated series and movies to come out, and people just get real hyped about it because they always have that extra in-depth information that people need to know. So I'm checking out this 10 burning questions. This came out like a week or two ago. I want to say 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and it just really blew me away on the information that I've seen. And when I say blow me away, I'm talking about it exposes what this show is all about and why we will hate it so much. Check this out right here, one of the portions that came out of the article. It says, what exactly is the source material here? So what did Amazon buy? We have the rights solely to the Fellowship of Ring, the Two Towers, the Return of the King, the Appendices, and the Hobbit. Payne says, and that is it. We do not have the rights to the Silmarillion, the Up in His Tales, the History of Middle-earth, or of those other books. That takes a huge chunk of lore off the table, has left Tolkien fans wondering how this duo plans to tell a second-age story without the access to materials. There's a vision of everything we need for the second age in the books we have the rights to, McKay says. As long as we're painting within those lines and not aggressively contracting something we don't have the rights to, contradicting something we don't have the rights to, there's a lot of leeway and room to dramatize and tell some of the best stories that Tolkien ever came up with. Now, while I was reading that super long paragraph, Amazon Prime, Rings of Power, only has the rights to The Hobbit, Two Towers, The Return of the King, The Fellowship of the Ring, and the freaking Appendices. And you mean to tell me that this whole story that has to do with the second age is only based off a few pages that was in the Lord of the Rings trilogy? This is not just crazy. This makes me realize now why we have elves that has spades like me, that we have dwarves that look like Egyptian queens, look like Cleopatra or one of them joints with the hair and all that stuff. But they have to make up their own characters so it won't contradict with anything else that really has to do with the first age and second age, like the Silmarillion stories. This is looking just like what's going on with the Star Trek lore, because the Calvin timeline and the J.J. Abrams timeline, all that stuff is intermingled because they only have certain rights to certain characters in the Star Trek lore, and they don't have all of it. And look like Amazon only bought the rights to the Lord of the Rings, hence the Lord of the Rings title that's in there. Let's check out a little bit more before I bust a blood vessel. But let's check this out right here. Another question that was asked to the showrunners. Okay, but would it feel like the Lord of the Rings? This is their question. This is their answer. I suppose that's up to you to decide. But McKay and Payne has spent a lot of time thinking. Look at that. I suppose that's up to you. If I'm looking at Lord of the Rings content or Middle-earth lore content, why the freak would I be watching it and say, oh, this doesn't really feel like Middle-earth, but it's a good show? Why would people say that? This show is already doomed from the beginning. It's already doomed. You can look from the trailer, and the people looking at the teaser trailer have already made this up in their minds because the dislike button shows this. This is going to be an absolute trash show, and they can't use their characters. It makes sense now that we got the warrior woman Galadriel, because they can't do the stuff that Galadriel did in the first age and the second age of the other books written by Tolkien. The letters, the unfinished tales, the Silmarillions, they can't use that stuff, so they're making the stuff up. Let's keep going. It's worth remembering, if only for legal reasons, that this is not the exact same world. The production design, though similar, is not trying to match the Jackson films. For example, King Elendil, legendary broken sword Norsil, which debuted on one of Prime's video promotional posters, does not look identical to the one eventually reforged and used by Viggo, Aragorn in The Return of the King. Now peep this right here. It said it's worth remembering, if only for legal reasons, that this is not the exact same world. Get it out of your mind now that you're going to get Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Get it out of your head that you're going to get Peter Jackson, The Hobbit. Even though I wasn't happy with The Hobbit, I got a strange feeling now that I'm going to be absolutely happy with The Hobbit compared to this crap that's coming out right now. And the crazy thing of all, and I can't believe they did it, and I just showed you guys in the intro with Gandalf, Radagast, Saruman. Those joints are going to be in this show. And the way that it looked like they're going to do it, based on this article that you're looking at right now, they're going to probably just be called the Istari, and they're not going to be called by their names that we know them by in the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit. You see, this is the thing. You call yourself being slick, and you think that the fans are dumb. You think we're dumb. You think we're just going to ingest this stuff and just buy it out and give you guys billions so you can triple up the money that you made buying this IP, and it's going to fail. It's going to blow up in your face, man. And speaking on this show is driving me nuts, man, because you don't understand, ladies and gentlemen. In my spare time, I cut on a video on YouTube and I listen to Middle-earth lore. I learn more things. I am still learning new things about the Middle-earth world, and I call myself a hardcore Tolkien fan when it comes to his works, and I'm still learning new dope things about it. This stuff is driving me crazy, man, and I'm ranting at this point. Make sure, if you guys have any issues or questions or think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below, and make sure to hit that like. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification bell. Because every time you hit that notification bell, it makes me feel oh so good and oh so swell. I'm out of here. Ninja Benny.